5 out of 12 companies, including Ola and Uber, have scored a 0 in a report that rated digital platforms on the basis of work conditions for gig workers. PharmEasy, Dunzo and Amazon Flex also scored a 0. The report was prepared by Fairwork India team in association with Oxford University. Now, what are the key takeaways? Well, for one, as far as the mechanics of this report are concerned, there were 12 companies that were surveyed. There were 3 markets that were taken into consideration. That's Delhi, Bangalore and Kochi. From amongst these markets, the data points that emerged, there were scores given to all of these 12 companies. The highest scorer was Urban Company with a score of 7 on 10, whereas the likes of Swiggy scored about 5 on 10, Zomato scored a 4 on 10. Meanwhile, the likes of Ola and Uber scored a 0 on 10. Now, the factors that were considered were 5-fold. Number one, pay, conditions, contracts, management, and representation. These were the factors that were considered, and it is on the basis of these 5 factors that these scores were given. Now, there were 2 key takeaways here. We spoke to the authors of this report. What they tell us is that there are 2 key takeaways. Number one is that the majority of these platforms are not comfortable with committing to or implementing some kind of a minimum wage framework or a minimum wage policy, and that is a trend that is increasingly emerging going forward. By speaking to these 12 companies in question, that's takeaway 1. The other major takeaway is there is an increasing amount of discomfort as a part of these companies to, in fact, number one, negotiate or even acknowledge or recognize collective bodies which represent these gig workers or platform workers. There is a great degree of hesitancy on a part of these majority of these platforms, and this is cited as a big concern by Fairworks as a part of its report in saying that a representative body that reflects a common agenda of these platform and gig workers in the absence of any legal framework is critical, and that is something that should be taken up by these platforms as a part of this gig economy. Let's also keep in mind that these results come at a time when a petition is pending before the Apex Court that has raised similar concerns. In fact, as a part of our coverage, we also reached out to 2 of these platforms, that's Ola and Uber, for a comment on the scores that they've been given.